My phone just fell on the floor. Good morning. I'm Victoria Savage, Nurse Savage on your side, your wisdom guided oracle. We're having coffee. I've got my beautiful moon mug. Full moon is coming up on Sunday. Very full, always powerful, always effective in the truest sense of the word. It is going to affect us in some way. So try not to buy into the shifting emotions and feelings that come with this, knowing that this too shall pass. So the messaging today is about struggle. And there's a lot of it going on. I just received a message coming as I was coming on to this reading from someone I love very much who was laid off of their job yesterday. And it's like, oh, geez. What I know is they're incredibly powerful, lovely, talented, gifted. They will find something else. But that roller coaster, that unsettledness, that disappointment is huge right now for them. And my heart hurts. So let's dive into what the universe has for us. I'm actually having tea. Already moved on from coffee. It was an early morning, as it usually is, but it was one of the earlier ones for me. So let's see. The overarching message about struggle today is from Wild Woman Rising, which is a lovely deck. It is take your place. I'm going to move that there because I'm pretty sure the reader. Take your place. Very calm, very confident, very focused card. To know we are part of the great circle of life is to know that our place in this world is unique and distinct. Good morning, Julia. Great morning, Susan. The divine feminine has created a sacred space for us as big as bear, as fierce as fox, as majestic as eagle. Claiming full ownership of our gifts is how we take up our rightful place. And when we take our rightful place with belonging and integrity, Wild Woman rises. Belonging and integrity. And that is the same as empowerment, knowing that you are unique. You, exactly the way you are, is needed in this world. It needs to be. So the next card coming up is from the Rooted Woman, Strength and Endurance. Certainly, look at the power in that. I mean, this woman is running with horses. Strength and endurance. This is what this long run game requires from us. It can get pretty discouraging at times, as it seems like we just keep butting up against the same walls. And we may well be, if we're only whining and sitting and looking at them going, why doesn't any of this work for me? I just hate this when this happens. Instead of diving in and going, okay, what did I bring this for? What is here for me? How can I move forward with this and grow from it, expand and learn from it? Good morning. Great morning, Francesca. And so what does that look like for you? What has your journey been? Probably many of us could say arduous, a little less than really fun, because we generally, the Lightworkers, Way Showers, Seers, Psychics, Channels, have brought in a lot of ancestral energy. We've carried in a huge amount of energy from our ancestors and from our past lives to resolve. If we don't dive in and resolve it, take ownership of it, claim our place in this world, it just keeps niggling at us, working at us. And so when you own that, all right, I needed to learn this, I chose to learn this before I came in. Need is a tricky word. It can be the understanding of what everybody else believes your path to be. You are the one choosing what comes through, what came through when you came into this world, what you wanted before you came in. So when you own that, then you go to work on the energies present, which are emotions, beliefs, the pattern of speaking. It is an intentional process that you enter into to reverse things, to change the way you've walked through this world, to choose to make things more easy, peaceful, and flowing. And it means you do some work. And for many of us, it's been, a fair amount of time of work. I showed this before. I have this picture. It's a framed card that a friend gave me years ago. She who never gives up. We don't have a choice in this to stop living this life that we wanted to live before we came in. I mean, absolutely not true. We could check out. But the thing is we chose these things. If we choose to check out early, we're going to come back to learn the same things because it was our choice in the first place. So this never giving up. Thank you, Julia. She's sending strength and perseverance to my friend whose job was taken away. And so the strength and perseverance, strength and endurance card is saying you just need to dive in. If you want to keep whining and pushing it off, you're going to be dealing with the same stuff. So I urge you to go in, do the energy work you need to do to release some of these energies. Find an energy worker, an energy healer for some of the stuff that you cannot do on your own. And if you don't feel like you can do any of that stuff on your own, I invite you to take the last spot in my retreat. There is just one space left, and it will guide you into doing your own work. This is why it's 7 days, because this is not something that I want you to walk away from and go, oh, wow, that felt really good. And I love that. And not have the tools and the beginning of the pattern that you want to create to continue to do your work. You're powerful AF here, and you want to release and move forward and expand and live this life that you came to live in its fullness. And to do that, you have to keep going and be strong. The dragon sword, for the love of dragons. I can tell you what this is about already. And I will look at the book because I don't know these cards real well, but this is very much a card of strength. And look at that sword is into the earth. And this is very much earthy type colors. The dragon sword receives the resources from everywhere. And the dragon sword is powerful AF. Let's see what the author, who is Angie Sullins, wanted us to know about the dragon sword. The sword of truth doesn't just cut with its blade, it also cuts with words. Consider your words carefully and then tell the truth. Again, remember I spoke about, we're creating all of this with our words too. And if we are not creating the truth with our words, we are short-circuiting our physical, our mental, our emotional, our spiritual. And we can't really afford that anymore. One of the things I do with people when I work with them is I teach them to muscle test themselves. And part of that is saying a truth over and over and finding which way you sway, and then saying a lie over and over. And what happens, and then I do strength testing. I try to get them to their hands in the process because it's quicker. But what happens when we tell a lie is that our our nervous system is temporarily short-circuited, which makes us weak. And we can reverse it. And we do reverse it when I teach people. Reverse it in class because I use someone as an example. And disempowering thoughts also short circuit our physical. So I want you to dive in to you. This message has been coming through for a while now. You do you. It is your time to do your inner work, which then becomes your outer truth in your life. I'm open, willing, and ready to be guided into what am I truly creating here with my thoughts, my beliefs, and my words. Show me. And that the sword is that sword of truth. And this Mother Earth energy is very much truth and balance energy. So that sword of truth you want coming up. You want drawing that earth energy up into you and being your metronome, your calibration for how you walk into this world. Protect the wild and the great. Another sword. This one is aiming to the sky. Now, protect the wild and the green. And the wild is your spirit, that very raw, true aspect of you that came into this world in a body suit, which then took on the toxic beliefs, the ancestral stuff, your past life stuff. But before, there was this wild truth that came in with you and who you are. Mother Earth graciously allows us to be here, and it is time we do our part to protect. And it doesn't have to be big things. So one of the things I do regularly is I walk this path along the river, which is also by a mill, a wood mill. And if I continued on this path, which is it's so funny because in the Airbnb, a couple of ads, local attractions is the sanitation walking path. This path will take you around our sewer plant. That really wasn't the point. I walk this path and people drop garbage, and then they also do not clean up after their dogs. So I pick up garbage and I clean up after others' dogs as well as my own. And because there's so much of that that is going to be, particularly the plastic, going to be toxic to Mother Earth. And it is an act of service to other people that I pick up the dog poop, because it gets awful. I mean, it gets smelly and there's a lot of dogs. So little things can make a difference. Recycling and choosing year after year to use less toxic chemicals out in a yard. If you happen to garden and you have a beautiful lawn, and allow the violets to come up in the lawn, allow the dandelions to come up in the lawn, feed it natural stuff, just different ways to protect the wild and green. The next, and this is right in that, be tender. And this is be tender with yourself. Give yourself a break. Know that because this is a long run game, this isn't going to be a one and done. That there are times when we are prompted, sometimes physically, just emotionally, sometimes financially, to just pull back and to do less, just go inward, relax a bit, allow yourself to have some fun, read a book, sit out in the sun, don't do all the chores that will be there tomorrow, I can guarantee you. Give yourself a break, be tender with you. And when you do that, and it does help to do that pure love and joy tool every morning for a minute, because you fill yourself with love more. So you love yourself more, and you're gentler with others. So be tender. The next card that came up, oh, I love this. The Sun Stormer. This is another for the love of dragons. Let's see what they say. The Sunstormer to me is a very high vibe card, very powerful card. This is the card of you taking your power. This is a planet of abundance. The radiance available to you each day can create opportunities, openings, and awarenesses that were not there the day before. All it takes is an appreciation for the abundance already provided for you. That gratitude work. That is a very powerful tool, as is the Pure Love and Joy tool. And lo and behold, they're both simple, simple, simple. It only requires that you make the choice to do it. These are very, very powerful energy clearing tools. You raise your vibration, you come above, and then you can let go of some of those heavier vibration. The sun shines and makes energy for you to use without your influence or direction. Allow yourself to be filled with radiance and shine like the sun. This is how your own light defeats the dark. Remember, it only takes one candle to light up an entire room, and that's who you are. That is what you're doing. And when you choose to shine more brightly here, you are making the difference, and it is all about you. The call. This is what this is about. This struggle that we sit and spin in is only allowable because we choose to stay there and focus. What is your truth here? What are you bringing through? Know that The call is being one of the reasons you're unsettled, one of the reasons all these areas of your life are not feeling balanced and right. Who are you in all of this? The call is being put out to you. You're being shaken up here. Often that's not the most comfortable energy you can have. So, what is the most comfortable energy? Focus and then act. I went through, it's a very, again, we have another sword. This is a sword into the heavens. It is a light sword. Look at where she's looking. She's looking to the heavens. She is focused on her higher energies. I went through a thing from 2017 through 2022. It started, well, actually, pretty much started at the beginning of November with what was considered, it is called an acetonial alignment. And I did one, and 2 weeks later, I did another one in the practice realm, but not knowing that I needed to let my aspects know it was practice the second time. And the thing is, I didn't need it. It really prompted a very powerful shift that set in Thanksgiving Day 2017. The next year was 2018, and it was a very physical purge until March. Then in August, I prompted some injury to the muscles in my legs. Unknowingly, I didn't intend to set out on a 7-mile hike, and certainly not to do it in one day coming back. It was supposed to be 4 miles. We were going to divide it both ways and do 2 days. The way up we divided, but it was 3.5 before we could even get to a place to camp along the trail. We were misled a little bit, but nonetheless, it took some time to recover from that. And then early September, my sister was diagnosed with her brain tumor. The next 3 months were a very physical, emotional upheaval as I journeyed with her through the dying process and helped her enter that transition in December. The next year was recovering from the grief. That was 2019. Then we went into COVID, 2020, and all the learning and the differences that came through there. And at this point, I can't remember 2021 actually what happened there. But in 2022, in November, all of the sudden it was like 2021 was very much that inward. I do remember where nothing was really working and I was not feeling motivated. I just couldn't do much but keep business kind of open. And I just did my best to keep flowing with it. And in 2022 in November, it was all of a sudden like I could take a deep breath. I felt like me again. I felt like motivated to start working and start taking action and then focusing. So we're going to have the times of down, and sometimes they're very long. I could have called that the dark night of my soul, but the truth is I never lost faith that there was a higher power that doesn't care what we call them in this with me. That's kind of truly what the dark night of the soul is, but it definitely was a time of transition, change, upgrades, expansion, and growth. And those can often be less than simple. So know that, focus and act. You're going to get ideas to focus on. You're going to act, and sometimes they're not going to produce what you want them to because there is something in there for you to learn. There is a block you may be holding, codes and energy you may have brought through from your past lives, from ancestors that are going, hey, yeah, this is still here. How about we remove that and then let's try this again? I realized recently that, I have this retreat that just is one spot left now. I was talking with a client, realized the other day that it was like, oh my gosh, that was less than 2 weeks ago. And I only had 3 people in this where I could have 8. And I realized, oh my gosh, like 9 or 10 years ago, I had this conference that I'd put out money and didn't have enough, a lot of responders. And I went, holy cow, here I am again, this same thing. And then I really, I go and I look at God and I go, really, geez Louise, I have spent so much time working on these energies. But the truth is, this specific energy, abundance, prosperity, and my belief systems about it, my ancestral belief systems about it, past lives, karmic energy, all were playing in, because this has been one of the big themes in my life. We generally have a couple that we've worked on over and over. And one of mine is resolving. I'm 67, soon to be 68 years old. And I have been working on the other one that is resolving since age 13. And so this is a long run game. This is not a one and done. Some of us came in with some big karmic weight, not punishment. This was energy we brought in to rid our others of and to learn from for ourselves. Others brought in a huge amount more and live very, very intense lives, much more intense than mine. And so, when we have different abilities and different callings, there is just no way I can give up. I can't do that. It is not within me. She who never gives up, that's my energy. Others have that same kind of calling and need some help to activate themselves within that, to be shown how they can start moving forward without needing the help of others all the time. Does not mean we don't need the help of others. It means we don't keep looking to them for all our answers. We start cultivating that relationship with our higher power. We start bringing in all that we can to be guided in this process. I'm open, I'm willing, I'm ready. Guide me. The last card coming up, the Alchemist. Oh, I love that word, because the truth is, it's right up there with wizard. The alchemist takes one thing and changes it into another. We are alchemists. Our bodies are alchemists. Every 90 days, every cell renews itself. So if you struggle with physical stuff, even if you've had surgery on that physical stuff, your cells can renew themselves into perfect form, perfect function, perfect health. But you have to keep choosing that. And there's a focus. And that means there are obvious things that you need to do. I have this lovely little lady that's in a group, and she is the sweetest spirit. Very much a victim of physical energy, very much a victim in many ways. And she's latched onto me, and I'm grateful to have that. But she also has now dementia, and she knows that it's early onset because of diabetes. And every time, I take her home from this meeting, and she had me to lunch one day to ask me all these questions. How can I address this? And I told her, I said, the thing is I've given you that information a couple of times, but you don't want it. You don't want to do. And the other truth is that until she employs a belief system that's going to shift what's going on, it's not going to change. But there are some very physical things she can do. And so I once again told her yesterday, I said, I am willing to be your coach in this and to help you learn some things food-wise that are going to help you move forward in this, and give you a couple of products that are also going to help and teach you how to eat this diet that is going to restructure a lot of what's going on with you. I cannot make guarantees, but I know there can be improvement. But until you are willing to do that, I'm not going to invest my time. And you and your husband have to be willing to do it together, because he will derail you. And so I left her with that yesterday, hoping against all hope that they will take me up on my offer. This is not something I will get paid for, except in her improvement. And I know her husband's health will improve, because I know how they eat and I know what they don't do physically. So just that one aspect. Remember, we are all things. Integrative wellness is necessary. This retreat is going to offer that, as well as the spiritual empowerment, the guidance, the awarenesses, the opening, and so many delicious little things that we're adding in. Maggie and I are so excited. And Mickey is bringing the sound healing aspect, and Anne is bringing massage for us. So we've got people coming, offering their gifts as part of a tuition. So if you have something you want to bring, we can talk. It is highly possible. Bartering is always a lovely aspect. So If you've been interested, if you've been called, reach out and bring me ideas. I think we are complete here. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Victoria Savage, Nurse Savage on your side, your wisdom guided oracle. Until we meet again.